Hi there, Sanjay Gangal from EDACafe. I'm here with Andrew Cole, VP of Business Development and Marketing at Silicon Creations. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Sanjay. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrew. Tell us about Silicon Creations.
Yeah, I guess I used to say that we're a small IP company, but that's not true anymore. I joined Silicon Creations about a decade ago. And at that stage, it was two guys in a basement. But we've grown to be the leading PLL vendor at this stage. We have 3-nanometer PLL silicon working already, which has been a great accomplishment. And not only that, we've been extending our other product ranges. About 5 years ago, we made a multi-protocol SerDes for the micro-semi FPGA. Mm-hmm. And that product's really been quite successful. It launched micro-semi into the leadership role in the low-power SerDes market, or FPGA market. And we've ported that to quite a few other process nodes. It's been quite good. And we also made a low latency variant of that, which is really the leading product in the high-frequency trading market at this stage.
Okay, so you are really big time into SerDes, right?
It's close to half our revenue at this stage, which is really quite surprising given that we're the PLL market leader.
Okay, so for our audience, I think most of the people do know what SerDes is, but for the people who don't know what SerDes is, can you briefly explain what a SerDes is?
Oh, sure. So the high level is a serial data communications link. Everyone knows about this because we all have USB in our computers, and PCIe has become the dominant way to connect to memories and a lot of peripherals within computers. And even inside cell phones, people are using PCIe between chips on their motherboards. And we have some specialist offerings as well as multi-protocol.
Okay. Yeah. So now a lot of other companies make SerDes IPs as well, right? What makes your SerDes IP specially differentiated?
Yeah, I guess that's a very good question. You know, at the first level, there are certainly some protocols like PCIe or USB, where the only thing that matters is, does it comply with the standard? Can you get certification? Mm-hmm. But there are lots of other protocols where either the protocol might be custom or people put a lot of value onto low power or small die area, or really good performance. And we score a lot of points in the places where people either require lower power than the market leaders, or lower area, or they may require a little bit of customization. And I would say the other thing is, through our collaboration with one of the leading FPGA companies, I guess we're one of the few companies that can say our multi-protocol is genuinely multi-protocol. It's with our FPGA customer, they have hundreds of customers who've used our multi-protocol SerDes for many tens of different protocols. And so although we're very small as a SerDes IP company, the number of proof points in the market for our SerDes is really broad, and probably really equivalent to the level of proof points that Synopsys has. And that's quite unusual for a small and flexible IP vendor.
Okay, and is your SerDes IP as well as other IPs, are they all soft IPs and customizable for different number of pins and stuff like that?
Right.
Or you also sell hard IP?
So we focus only on the hard IP. So for PLLs, of course, PLLs really are sold only as hard IPs. And for SerDes, what we've done is we've moved to a strategy where we provide our customers with a hard IP block, which is the mixed signal parts, the serialization, deserialization, clock and data recovery, adaptive equalization. And then we wrap that in a soft IP block. And so as a small IP company, we don't make controllers, but we find the best vendor or the best independent vendor of a controller, say like Comcore's for JSD204 or PLDA for PCIe. And we partner with those and build a soft IP wrapper around our multi-protocol SerDes that enables the SerDes to connect seamlessly to their controller.
Okay, and which foundries do you primarily support?
Currently with SerDes, we're focused more than anything on TSMC, but we also recently taped out a PCI Gen 5 PMA and Global 12 LP+. So our main focus is TSMC and Global, but we do have some offerings in some other processes. We've also been quite successful in image sensor output channels, which are usually in highly specialized image sensor process nodes.
Okay, and so tell us more about this image sensors IP that you have.
Right. I guess before I joined Silicon Creations, I was the general manager of Foveon, which was an image sensor company. And so I came to Silicon Creations with a lot of knowledge about the image sensor industry and what really matters. And image sensors are extraordinarily sensitive to correlated noise or pattern noise. So not only do your IPs have to exist in a process that might be quite difficult with a lot of limitations, but if it generates any correlated noise that goes into any of the power supplies, that can be seen in the images that the sensor generates. And the other thing is that sensors have to have the lowest power possible. So any excess power that is generated by the SerDes is going to result in hotspots on the sensor die, and that disturbs the image that is generated.
Okay, so you got SerDes, you got PLLs, you got image sensor IPs. What else do you have?
Well, we're focused primarily on those two things, but I will show you a couple of slides later about a couple of new products that we've developed. Okay. One of the products is that we recognize that PLLs are fundamentally limited in the rate at which they can switch output frequencies. And modern high-performance compute chips really would like to use dynamic frequency scaling to improve the efficiency with which they can use their die. So we built a solution that consists of a new kind of product that we call a delay to digital converter. So that directly measures the logic delay on a nanosecond time scale. So the logic delay for each few nanoseconds. And we have a frequency lock loop or frequency generator that can switch output frequencies also in that same time scale, a few nanoseconds, without overshoot and without any glitches. This is quite I think both of these two IPs are a new class of IP. And we're only beginning to explore the applications for them, but we already have a few high-performance compute customers in 5 nanometers, and our silicon in 5 is proven.
Wow. No. So you're really keeping up with the cutting edge. You earlier mentioned you already have the 3 nanometer PLL. You got all these products at 5 nanometers. So I guess you're covering most of the nodes from TSMC.
I think so. I think that I can't think of a TSMC node that we don't have IPs already proven in. So yeah, definitely we've got a very close partnership with TSMC. And I think that shows, I mean, the reason we started talking today is that we were really proud to win TSMC's Best Mixed Signal Vendor Award this year. And that was the 5th year in a row that we'd won that. We were really very pleasantly surprised, but also not surprised. And we know exactly why that happened as well, because we really built a culture that focus on customer support or customer success. So our customers have direct access to our design team, which is really helpful and appreciated by them. And the designers are told that their mission is to make the customer successful. So it's not really that surprising that that we've built a lot of knowledge, and our customers really value working with us.
Well, congratulations
Thank
for
you.
being the partner of the year, TSMC partner of the year. That's quite an honor.
Yes, yeah. So I did want to talk briefly about a different new product. For a few years, we've been selling, I guess, high power fractional N PLLs, ring PLLs. And we've got customers who use those to generate PCIe reference clocks on chip. That's quite a challenging thing. The alternative is a discrete die that uses a couple of hundred milliwatts and costs a few dollars. So customers have been quite happy to buy that PLL from us and put it on chip and save the BOM cost. But we were never that delighted with the power that the IP used, even though it was only about a fifth of the discrete chip, at about 40 milliwatts. We recently developed a new class of LC PLL, and this was both smaller at a tenth of a square millimeter and uses less than 10 milliwatts, so a quarter of the power again, and is half the jitter of the old PLL. So we've improved on all fronts, and that puts us at about a 20th of the power of the discrete chip. It's quite an accomplishment. So this one's in 6 nanometers so far, but we expect over the next couple of years to be extending that out through other process nodes.
Okay. Do you also work with Samsung?
We do, yes. So we'll be joining the Samsung Safe Forum tomorrow. I have a presentation where I talk about how our fractional NPLO works and RTL or soft IP blocks that we can add to that to extend the function. And we'll have a booth. So I hope that some people join. I guess this video will be published after the show.
Yeah.
But the Samsung presentation and the chat will be available for some time afterwards.
Okay. And what is the best way for our audience to find out more about Silicon Creations on the internet?
Sure. We have a website, of course. It's siliconcr.com or siliconcr.cn for China. And they can email us directly at sales@siliconcr.com.
Okay. And Andrew, is it okay if I ask you a couple of personal questions?
Oh, for sure. I'd be delighted.
So what do you do for fun outside work, or what is your personal passion?
Well, everyone who talks to me on the phone knows that my normal Zoom background is a racing sailing yacht. So I'm a passionate sailing racer. Unfortunately, my racing yacht was 7 feet deep, and when I moved to Florida, I realized that was not going to work here. So I'm currently boatless.
Wow. So what type of yacht did you used to have?
It was I guess a mid-80s Beneteau, so it was a pure racing yacht.
I see. And have you participated in any races?
Oh yes. So yes. I guess when I lived in San Francisco, I used to race twice a week during the summer and only once a week during the winter. So a lot. I've been racing, I guess, for about 40 years now.
And was it near the Golden Gate Bridge?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So it sailed out to the Farallon Islands many times and around to Santa Cruz and Monterey Bay. So it's a lovely area to sail.
It is.
So Florida is interesting as well. It's very shallow. So we joke here that there's sailors with stories of being stuck in the mud and liars.
Yeah, my old partner David Heller used to own a 45-footer sailboat. Used to park in Sausalito, and I've sailed with him a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a glorious place to sail, San Francisco Bay. Quite exciting.
Yeah, and the sailboat used to go like almost like 30 degrees with heavy wind.
Right.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. And Andrew, can you also tell us something about yourself that most people at Silicon Creations who work with you don't know about you?
Oh goodness. Well, that's actually maybe very few people know this about me. That I spent the first few years of my life in a country called New Guinea, and English is not my first language. The first language that I spoke is a language called Pidgin.
Ah, wow. Wow. That's got something. And when did you move to USA?
I moved to the US in '96, I think. So moved to Florida first and then the San Francisco Bay.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew, for taking time to record this interview.
Okay, thank you for the structure of the interview. It was quite good.
Okay. Yeah, have a great day and stay safe.
Okay, you too. Okay,
Okay.
bye.
This is Sanjay Gangal from EDACafe.